globally, and of course nationwide here at McBean Law, where we're doing some amazing work for our clients. Today, it's Monday, and we're going to have a Q&A session maybe for the next 30 minutes. So come on in, and as you're joining today's live session, say hello and let me know where you're watching from. Let me know where you're watching from, and type in freedom now. Freedom now. Excellent. Come on in, friends. Type in freedom now as you're joining today's live session. Again, I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer. At McBean Law, friends, we're doing some amazing work. And as a matter of fact, we shared a terrific story last night in our newsletter. A terrific story about a client who has been in the United States for 29 years. Can you imagine 29 years? And the government has finally agreed to help him to get a green card. If you have not read last night's story, go check your inbox. If you're a subscriber, read that story, encourage yourself. It's an amazing story. For almost 3 years, we were negotiating with ICE, DHS on his behalf, and they finally agreed to help him. Can you imagine? After 29 years, and the record is really complex. A lot of bumps in the road for him over the 29 years that he's been in America. I'm so proud of our team. So go read that testimonial. It's in your inbox. And if you have not yet subscribed to our newsletter, subscribe at mcbeanlaw.com/subscribe. Okay, I see that folks are on right now. Let me say freedom now. Type in freedom now. Sonia from my team is also in the chat, and she's moderating for us today. So say hello to Sonia. She is terrific. Sonia will help answer your questions about how to reach us, how to book an appointment, what are our attorney fees. Sonia is the one to address all of those questions for you. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. Why freedom now? Freedom, to me, from my standpoint in my heart, is so critical. It is critical. Freedom is everything, truly. And with immigration, when you're tied up in immigration court, or you're tied up in a complex green card case, or you're tied up in a situation that you don't like on the immigration side, getting that freedom is like, it's everything. And so at McBean Law, freedom is the core of what we believe in. If you believe that you want to be free, if you have a family member who wants to be free, if it's your son, I saw a comment recently, freedom now for my son. If it's for your son, your husband, your daughter, your friend, just type in freedom now for that person. Freedom now, freedom now. Also, guys, our office is open. You may reach us at 888-462-4006, 888-462-4006. So let's get into some of your immigration questions. I'm going to be live today for just about 30 minutes. We have so much going on here today at McBean Law. All right, type in freedom now, freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. I see that Nisha is asking a question. She's overseas. She's in that F2A category. Nisha, she says her priority date is current. When can she expect an interview? Nisha, it's going to really depend on your U.S. embassy in your country and how fast they're moving with their interviews. Most embassies that we've seen that we work with, have really gotten caught up with their interview times. And so we're getting interviews scheduled very quicker than before these days. And so speak with your immigration lawyer about where you're located and what the timeline looks like for that country, okay? I see that Virginia is in the house, Richmond, Virginia. Thank you. Okay, we already have a chat bot. Okay, Raphael says, well, you should set up a chat bot. We do have a chat bot set up on our website. Thank you for that, Raphael. Now let's see. Freedom now, freedom now. Someone says, Adioyi says, do I have to withdraw my asylum application if I want to travel on parole based on marriage? So so let me just say Addie, okay, if that's okay with you. Addie, where are you thinking about going to? Are you thinking about going back home? Because if you're going through a marriage case and you have an asylum application on file and you want to travel, okay, if you go back and you travel to your home country, which you told the US government that you cannot return to, you're going to run into a problem of fraud. Potentially, very strong possibility that the government will think that you've committed fraud, okay, in connection to your green card, in connection to your asylum case. So speak with your immigration lawyer about this situation as far as where you're going to travel, where you want to travel back to, and whether it's a good idea for you to travel. All right. For us, the asylum application for cases that we have a marriage, if we're working on a marriage case and there's an asylum application that was also filed years prior, and the government has a move forward on that asylum case, for most of our clients in that scenario, we usually withdraw the asylum application at the very end of their marriage green card process. Harris says, can I change my lawyer? Harris, what's going on? What's wrong with the lawyer that you have now? For some people, yes, they can change their lawyer. You know, you're free to always hire who you want to hire if they're available to work on your case. The question is, well, why? Why are you leaving that lawyer? And then secondly, what type of case do you have? How far you're into the process? Is there any work for a new lawyer to do? If there's no work other than we're just waiting, well, for most lawyers, they will not take the case, not unless they believe that there's work ahead for them. Like, for instance, the fraud unit is involved in your immigration case. And I had a consultation just like similar to this today. Fraud unit is heavily involved in investigating the new client. And so the question is, and the case has already been filed, some years has passed. Well, yes, there is potentially work for McBean Law in that context to do, right? We can get the records from immigration, study what's going on, and then gear up for what's ahead, which we would believe may be a notice of intent to deny the case, or filing a lawsuit to move the case forward, force immigration to take the next step in the case. There's things that can be done for some cases. So we will look, Harris, to see where you are in your journey and whether it makes sense for McBean Law to step in and assist you and help you to the finish line, if we can help you to the finish line, okay? So think about those issues. Let's see. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. And guys, tell me also, as you're just, I know you're putting in your questions, but also let me know where you're chiming in from today, where you're watching today's live session from. Let me know. And let's see. Marie says, I see Reno, Nevada is in the house. I spent some time in Reno back in the day. It's dry in Reno, weather-wise, right? Marie says, I have a green card. Can I file for my 28-year-old son abroad? Or should I wait until I become a U.S. citizen? So, Marie, with your green card, you can definitely start the process for your son and get him in line. And he is going to fall into, because he's 28, he's going to fall into a category that will require several years wait for the visa to become available for him. If you decide, well, I'm just going to wait until I'm a U.S. citizen to get this process started for him, well, if you do that, you're going to cost him time. It's going to cost him time, because in the years that you're spending waiting for U.S. citizenship to then file for him, and then only to find out that, oh, shoot, even in that citizenship parent category, my son has several years wait as well. So it's better to just get started on the file and get him in line, even with your green card. And if it makes sense down the road, we'll have to look at the visa bulletin, which tells you where the government what the government is up to for each visa category on the green card side. Then we'll have to assess whether it makes sense at that point to upgrade the file to citizenship filing. But anyway, get him in line. Get the filing done right away. Jamaica is in the house. Hey there, Delroy. All right, let's see. Lamy says, I'm a U.S. citizen and my spouse was interviewed in 2022. Since then, we have been in 221G. So they're in administrative process and the wife is in administrative process. And we would want to know why. We would want to know, did the government request additional documents from her after her visa interview? We would want to know, were there issues other than documents, evidence? That's the problem. If there are other issues that the government raised during that visa interview and those issues are not yet resolved, well, we would want to know what those issues are and whether we should go in and try to get her out of that administrative process, and which would be our objective. We would want to get her out of it because it's been more than a year already. And normally the government tells people, oh, give us 12 months. Well, it's been longer than that. And you guys, your case is held up. Something is wrong. So we'll go deeper with you, have a meeting with us so that we could assess what's going on and see how we might be able to help your wife. We also want to know, where is she? What country is she in, right? As well. So contact us, guys. If you want a one-on-one with us, have a consultation, okay, with me or one of my colleagues. Okay, hold on a second. Now let's see. Type in freedom now and where you're located. Dahlia says, my asylum case now PD with motion to reopen. What should I do? Dahlia, it sounds like you're in a complex situation. You mentioned a motion to reopen. You should be working with a lawyer on that. If you already have a lawyer working on your case, speak with that lawyer if you want to get a second opinion about what you should do with your PD motion to reopen, which sounds like it's still just pending in ICE DHS's court. If that's the case, then you'll need to wait until they make a decision. Like I said, I don't know if you were on earlier when I said yesterday we sent out a terrific story testimonial about our client whose PD case motion to reopen was approved by ICE DHS base. And for almost 3 years, we were negotiating with ICE on this one case, almost 3 years, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we're so happy that they've decided to help him. Complex background. When I say complex, extremely complex, and we're so thrilled for him. That story's in your inbox. Go read it, guys, if you are subscribed to our newsletter. It'll be up on our website later this week. You could catch that story. It's called Prosecutorial Discretion Granted for Client from Kenya After Nearly 3 Years of Negotiating with ICE. Okay. Let's see. Someone says, so if someone entered legally as a minor on an adult passport, do they need an I-94? So if a person entered unlawfully, because this is unlawful entry that we're talking about here, or illegal entry. If someone entered illegally in another name or using someone else's document, well, when they are ready for a green card, then there's a problem. There's a problem, and they need to prove that they entered the United States with admission and inspection, or they were paroled into the United States. If they're not able to meet that burden, they will not be able to get a green card here through adjustment of status, through a relative or an employer. They might be able to get their green card here through a humanitarian process, but not through a relative or an employer. They would have to be able, it depends on who will be filing for them or whether they're going to self-petition, but folks need to be able to show how they came into the United States to get the green card here. Otherwise, they'll need a waiver and they will need to go back to their country for an interview. Papa says, I wish I had seen a lawyer before leaving the U.S. Yes, before you up and get on a plane on your own volition, right? If you're here in the United States and you've overstayed your visa, or you were placed in removal, or something complex happened with you on the immigration side, in either any of those scenarios, do not just get on an airplane and leave the United States without speaking with a lawyer first to understand how you may re-enter the United States. Weigh all of your options. And from time to time, we meet with people in that scenario. They say, we want to leave the US. I want to leave. I want to go back home. I have a sick relative, or I'm tired of things here. I want to go back home and see my family, spend some years back home, and come back. And then guess what? Less than a year later, they contact us and say, okay, I've only been gone for less than a year, and I want to get back. I want to come back to the US. Well, then it's at that point they learn how difficult it is to return to the U.S. So always seek legal counsel before leaving the U.S. Thank you for raising that, Papa. Freedom now, freedom now. Why is it taking so long for the NVC why is it taking so long at NVC for the I-130? So one of the reasons why it could take long for your I-130 to process, to continue processing, so to speak, at the visa center is because a visa is not yet available for you. You might be in a category, potentially. This is the number one reason. You're in a category for which no visa is yet available for you. So your case will sit at the visa center potentially for years until your priority date becomes current. And once it becomes current, then you're able to do more at the visa center, fill out your visa application and submit all of the required documents, and then they'll move you into the queue for an interview. So it's possible that that's why things are taking so long at the visa center. The other thing I want you to know is that your I-130 case has already been fully processed by USCIS, so the I-130 is irrelevant at this point now that you're at the visa center. It's all about your visa application. Now, the other reason why it could be so long, take so long at the visa center is because maybe they're requesting documents from you and you're going back and forth with the visa center, and it takes a while to hear back about whether they accept your document or whatever the case might be, or they've asked for a new affidavit of support or some new document. So those are the things also that slows down a case at the National Visa Center. Freedom now, freedom now. Florida is in the house. Floridians, let's see all the Floridians. How are you guys hanging in there? Florida is a tough state to live in these days as an immigrant, but for those of you surviving in Florida, it's possible, and you see that it's impossible for the government to really attack you, attack everyone in Florida, right? So freedom now for those of you who are in Florida. Someone says, greetings from India. Okay, greetings from India. I have been awaiting my I-751 removal of conditions for the past 3 years. I filed for my naturalization 2 months ago. How soon can I get my citizenship? So you might be thinking, wait a minute, he's out of the country, he's in India, and he has his I-751 removal of conditions case pending. How is that even possible? Well, he can travel. He has the right to travel as a conditional resident, and he's been granted an extension, and the government is given 48 months extension now on the removal of conditions cases, and he's been waiting for a long time, 3 years, and now he's applied for citizenship. The citizenship process should push you to the finish line, should push you faster. It's only been 2 months since you've applied for naturalization. So I would say that it's going to be soon that they're going to be moving your case forward. Although I don't know the jurisdiction, I don't know some other details. 3 years is a long time now for you to be waiting. Most cases that we've seen on the I-751 side tends to be processed faster than 3 years. What I don't know, though, is whether your case started jointly jointly filed petition and then it became a waiver because maybe you're trying to do this on your own? Or did it start out as a waiver case and it's just been pending for 3 years? But I think citizenship is going to push you to the finish line sooner rather than later, because that's the effect of the N-400 when you're doing the I-751 process. Salu is asking, can a parolee marry a U.S. citizen and get his green card? So Salui, that's a great question, and it depends on what type of parole you received. If you receive the type of parole that is being offered to folks who are showing up at our border today, the answer is no. A marriage green card case will not yield a green card through adjustment of status, because that's considered illegal entry and you will not be able to finish the process here. But if it was a different type of parole, maybe on the humanitarian side, well, in that type of case, then yes, you would be able to adjust your status. But what if you did not receive that humanitarian parole, you won't be able to adjust your status through your spouse. And that's the problem that a lot of people are facing now who come to the United States through the border, thinking that, okay, I came in, this is Joe Biden's time, border is open, everyone's getting into America now, more easier than ever. And so I have my fiance in America, I'll just come in through the border and then I'll just marry that person and get my green card. But then they learn that you're not eligible for adjustment of status. So then they feel like, oh my God, and plus they're in removal. So then the removal case will need to be terminated, dismissed. And if it's dismissed, then they will need to go through a process of obtaining a waiver and going back home to an embassy to be processed properly, okay? So don't get jealous. Don't be jealous of what you're seeing happening with folks coming in at the border thinking, oh, they're skipping the line, they're skipping the line, they're skipping the line. Most of those individuals are not eligible for a green card, all right? Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. Guyana, someone is asking about Guyana. Gregory, how fast can I expect an interview once my priority date becomes current? Guyana is very fast. I would say within a matter of a couple of months or something like that. Georgetown is very fast. So yeah. But what can slow things down is at the visa center, it's not really sometimes it's not the embassy that's slowing your case down. It's just the process at the NVC is slowing your case down because of all the back and forth and system glitches and this and that could be dragged out for a long time. Okay, so it's not always the embassy's fault. Freedom now. Thank you. I see Rohan is in the house. He's in Jamaica. Let's see. Thank you. Favor is asking, should I wait until I'm a U.S. citizen to file for my 19-year-old or start now? Okay, I've answered a question like this earlier about the green card holder parent could always start can start right now. You know, I don't know when you're going to become a U.S. citizen. If you're going to become a U.S. citizen very soon before this person your child turns 21, then that's an immediate relative filing. Otherwise, I would say just, you could get that person, your son or daughter, in line. Daryl says, I got my green card 3 weeks ago. Congratulations. But, right, it's not over yet, right? Got my green card, but I caught my wife cheating and she wants to divorce me. What can I do now? So, Daryl, if the decision to divorce is always your personal decision to make, you got your green card, I'm assuming through your U.S. citizen spouse who you're no longer with, who wants to now divorce you. Make that decision on a personal level. You have your green card. Did you get a 2-year green card or did you get a 10-year green card? If you had only been given the 2-year conditional resident card or status, I should say, well, there is a way for you to obtain your 10-year on your own, and we do those cases, removal of conditions. The government does allow for you to do it on your own if you meet the requirements. So you could contact us for that process. All right. Roberta, is driving without a license considered a criminal offense? Yes, it is. It is. Yes, it's a crime, right? It, it's it is a crime. Now let's see. Freedom Now as I think that's a police or maybe an ambulance truck that's passing. Freedom Now, guys. Freedom Now. Susanville. Where's Susanville? What state is Susanville? Let me know what state that's in. Again, Sonia is in the comments. She's moderating for us. Thank you, Sonia. You're doing a terrific job. We appreciate you. Someone stole my car, and he was arrested because he committed other crimes with the car. The police took my statement, and the case is going to court. Can I ask the cop for assistance with immigration? So this is a good question about the U visa crime victims process. I would want to know more details about what happened here, but just based on what you've said here, I don't think this is enough for a U visa case. But we would want to look at the police report and learn about what those other crimes are. But it doesn't sound to me like this is a very strong U visa case. By the way, when I share my feedback like this, guys, just keep in mind, this is a public forum for general information only. Consult one-on-one with an immigration lawyer to get a real, true opinion about your situation, okay? So this is not direct legal advice. You know, I have to say that, okay, in a context like this where I'm sharing what I think off the cuff about whether this is a strong case or not. Talk with your lawyer to tell them more about your case, all right? Audrey says, what is going on today with all this noise outside? Audrey says, my friend's I-130 was approved, but her 485 green card application was denied and she was deemed inadmissible, but she was never placed in removal. This happens very frequently. The government makes the decision about whether to put an individual in removal or not. Most times they don't. They just let it go. Sometimes they take aggressive action and issue a notice to appear and place the individual in removal. So it's their decision. They have that discretion to do that if they want to. Oops, I was just reading, shucks. Let me scroll back up here. Someone had a question that I was just about to answer, but let's see, Freedom Now, Freedom Now, Freedom Now. I think I lost it. All right, let's keep going. Jeff is asking, when can you apply for U.S. citizenship? Is it the date of approval of your green card or the date of residency on the green card? So an individual who obtains a 2-year green card, the conditional residency, you would have to be, in order to then apply for citizenship, you would have to be a resident for 2.9 years in order to qualify for early naturalization, okay? Otherwise, if you decide, well, I'm not going to do it based on marriage at the 2.9-year time, well, you'll just wait it out 5 years if you choose to. And some people choose 5 years because the marriage is not very strong. And in order to be successful at the 3-year mark, you'll need to prove to the government that you're still in really strong marital unity with the spouse who filed for you for the green card. Let's see. Let's keep going. Freedom now. Thank you guys for being with me today. I really appreciate this. We're working on a live chat. We're going to be doing some live chatting with you soon. Let's see a question. Coloco says, how can a visa B1, B2 apply for work authorization? So visitors are not able to just apply for work authorization on their own like this. They need to be connected somehow to a case, like a green card case, or maybe they entered, on a work visa, something like that. They cannot just independently go out and apply for a work permit. I have a free visa guide on the B1, B2, and it went out just a few days ago. Go on my channel and look for the most recent video on the B1, B2 visa guide. It's free. Download it so that you could learn a little bit more about the B1, B2 visitor visa. Deidre says, do I have a video on filling out the I-864 by joint sponsor? I know that I have some old videos about the affidavit of support from the standpoint of how to choose a good joint sponsor. But as far as filling it out, yes, I do. I have a course. It was part of my paid course that's connected to. So I don't think I've ever done a YouTube video about how to fill out the I-864. But there are others on the internet, on YouTube, that you can search and you'll see their videos on how to complete it, okay? So just do a little research. Freedom now. Freedom now. Brooklyn is in the house. Moldova is in the house. Maryland is in the house. Thank you. Thank you, Herman. Appreciate it. Let's go down a little bit to a question that is a little different. Jamaica Embassy is also caught up on visa on their interviews as well. Very much caught up. So not a very lengthy wait time for Kingston, Jamaica. Someone in California says that we're a family of 4. We overstayed our E3 visa by 8 years. Could you please give us your advice? So someone in your family, someone needs to be eligible for a green card. I have a playlist on visa overstay options. Go watch some of those videos on that playlist and see whether anyone in your family may fit any of those categories, but someone needs to be eligible for a green card to kick things off, get things going, and just watch those videos to learn just a few things about the different options on how to get a green card in the U.S. Thank you. Sonia is also removing all spam. Okay, so if you've been placed in timeout, that's because you've been spamming and she has removed your question. And you're going to be timed out for a little bit. So please do not spam. Yes, it's possible to get your citizenship on your own with your 10-year green card. Yes, that is definitely something you can do. Ramon is asking if you're eligible for naturalization, of course. Naturalization this year is extremely fast, very fast. Election year, as I said several months ago. So this is really still a good time. Yes, today's April 29th, and we're getting there, but closer to the election season. But, if you're eligible for naturalization, absolutely, now is still the time to file for citizenship. Friends, I'm about to jump off. Let me see if I could just maybe grab one more question. I'll be back live on next Monday, and you can catch me live on social media as well, on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram periodically throughout the week. Someone says, I'm moving to the United States. I need to do a full background check on yourself and including 5 grandchildren to get my family visa to move from England. Okay. When you're going through that green card process, each person will be accountable for police clearance report that you'll need to submit to the U.S. Embassy, to the Visa Center, National Visa Center. Michael is asking whether there's a backlog on the N336 application. His has been processing for 11 months. Yeah, our experience with that, it's taken a while, close to a year for many of the clients that we have whose naturalization case were the denial that we're defending as well. So something is going on there with that. I don't know specifically what the reason is or what the problem is, but something is definitely going on there. My parents have been divorced for a year, and due to the divorce, I'm no longer in contact with my dad. Will I qualify for SIJ, which is the Special Immigrant Juvenile Status? It depends on where you're living, and it depends on what state you're in. It depends on it depends on your state, it depends on your age, and it depends on other factors about who, is your mom in your life? Is she taking care of you? You're not in contact with the father. For some states, that's not enough to prove that you've been abandoned, neglected, or abused. For some other states, like New York, it could very well be enough because of New York state law and how we define those abandonment, abuse, neglect, the way that our state defines those terms. It's very broad here in New York, up to 21 years old. If you're up to 21 years old, you can be eligible and qualify for this. But for some other states, you may have aged out of that process. Speak with us if you'd like to, go deeper to learn whether you're eligible for SIJ. We'd be happy to have that conversation with you. We work on SIJ cases, and we like helping young people self-petition for a green card. Thank you so much, guys, for being with me today in this live session. Be sure to comment below. Watch this again. If you came on late, watch this again so that you'll see what questions were asked earlier. I'll be back before you guys next week, Monday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Friends, our office is open. If I wasn't able to answer your question, Sonia has placed our information in the chat. Our phone number, again, is 888-462-4006. Or go to McBeanlaw.com where you could put in a request for an appointment with us. Now is definitely the time for immigration. Now is the time for freedom, and we're here for you. Just reach out to us, and we'd be happy to go deeper with you. Thanks so much for being with me today, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.